Hello, my name is Brooke Vanden, and I'm here to talk about my final paper. So I did mine on the generations and the pros and cons of having them work for your nonprofit. So altogether at one nonprofit organization, we observe 5 different generations working together right now, bringing a wide range of motivations, perceptions, and communication styles. While the new expectations for employees are emerging, it brings about a hurdle for companies with multiple generations. This new expectation is arising due to the baby boomer generation approaching the retirement age, which leaves the workforce with the young generation. The millennials will fill in their gap. Nonprofit organizations can greatly benefit from leveraging the differences between each generation to help sustain a growing environment, but without proper training and knowledge, the different generations will clash. Starting with the oldest generation in our current day, we look into each generation and we end with our millennials, which is us. It all starts with educating employers to have a higher level of awareness, bring about the benefits and challenges of creating a multi-generational workforce that will lead to a nonprofit organization to succeed. Each generation has motivations that will push them to excel in the nonprofits. The nonprofits can influence the differences, will bring out the best in each of their employees or volunteers. Understand that each generation is different, and educating yourself and your workers on that and their aspirations will provide with the pros and cons. Today's workforce consists of 5 different generations, starting with the greatest generation, silent generation, baby boomers, Generation X, and the millennials. The purpose of this study is to explore some of the different variables that go into having a multi-generational workforce, the pros and cons of each generation, and what their motives are. The goal is to analyze the characteristics of each generation and determine how to have a successful multi-generational workforce. The greatest generation was born in 1901 to 1924. The 20 million members of this generation grew up through the Great Depression and also the victory of World War II. The generation to follow the greatest generation had big shoes to fill, but instead the silent generation earned their name. The silent generation was born between 1925 and 1945. 30 million members that make up the silent generation were struggling with trying to live up to their older peers. The next generation is the baby boomer generation, mostly referred to as the boomers. The baby boomers were born from 1946 to 1962 and consisted of 78 million of them. Baby boomers are known to be in their own bubble and worry about their own generational issues. In the baby boomers' youth, they achieved to be the first generation to openly rebel against the government since the revolution took place. This generation wants to save the world, which can have them working for nonprofits or volunteering their time. This next generation had to push the baby boomers out of the way to get any attention, but the Generation X made it. They're born from 1963 to 1980. This generation consisted of 98 million people. The generation is now moving into their 30s and 40s, supporting their families and trying to make an impact on the economy. With many baby boomers obtaining the higher positions up in nonprofits, this still leaves Gen X fighting to gain success. In our book, Nonprofit Management 101, a complete and practical guide for leaders and professions, gives great advice. When you work with Gen X members, make sure to emphasize their value to the mission of the organization. In addition, you have to lead in a way that allows people to think independently and have at least some level of work-life balance. Heyman, 2011, page 152. Last but definitely not least, we have the Gen or millennials as we call them. Born from 1981 to 2002, very tech savvy. These younger workers are said to be tech savvy, family centric, achievement oriented, team oriented, and attention craving. That's by Crane, 2011, page 27. Ventura County can hold one of the ways that our nonprofit in Ventura County can benefit from is they can hold training for their nonprofit sectors to learn about each generation. Offering this training to nonprofit managers and employees will bring a better understanding to their peers and mentors. A lot of nonprofits will have their baby boomers retiring soon, and they will need to start training their Gen X to replace the baby boomers. All this can be learned at the training sessions Ventura County can hold. A local organization would be the Big Sisters and Big Brothers of Ventura County that can benefit by this knowledge, as they have older generations being the role models for younger generations. Part of their prerequisites for hiring or volunteers or workers should be taking a class to learn about the younger generations to relate more to their little brother or sister. In conclusion, all nonprofits in Ventura County can benefit from learning about a multi-generational workforce. Achieving the workforce will need to start with open-minded thinking, which will lead to understanding of all the skill sets, and then will offer a range that can create a successful organization. Combining the 5 different motivations, perceptions, and communication styles of a nonprofit business will be a diverse organization that gains a competitive advantage by having all 5 generations building their nonprofit. Thank you.